acabou de sair um novo vídeo aqui no canal do Alifilme. Seguinte, há 8 meses atrás ele postou esse vídeo aqui, ó. Fiz um remake de God of War porque a Sony não quer. O vídeo foi um sucesso, pegou aí 3 milhões e 500 mil visualizações, sendo vídeo único, né, no canal dele. Inclusive eu fiz um react, que é esse aqui, ó. Esse cara aqui é muito talentoso, ele é muito dedicado, vale muito a pena assistir o vídeo original dele, né? Ele acabou de postar aqui faz 56 minutos, a continuação desse vídeo aqui.
I am so disappointed. I was at least expecting a remaster for the 20th anniversary, and all we get is this piece of... Sony, you're not even listening, are you? Forget about it. I'm gonna do it myself. And this time, we're gonna have a brand new Kratos design. Undead Legionnaires, the GNC, and the Hydra. Just wait, Sony. This is gonna be everything you never gave us. I'm gonna start with the brand new Kratos design, since the previous one didn't get much love. For the new design, just imagine Kratos from God of War 3 having a baby with
Mano, esse cara, ele é muito engraçado, velho. Ele é muito engraçado.
Kratos from God of War Valhalla. Wait, I took the negative comments seriously and decided to fix all the issues we had with the previous design, like its weird looking mouth. Fixed. You think he was so skinny? Fixed. Doesn't have six-pack abs. Fixed. Why does he have 4 toes? Those are not 4 toes, you idiot. The pink is covered by the sandals. I even changed the tattoo and made it a bit sharper. Much meaner. Much stronger. Much...
Que isso, velho. Fez uma correção, hein?
Let's make the blades of chaos. Changed the textures with a high quality wood texture. I layered dirt and details on top and made the surface look a bit wet. Then filled it with all kind of trash.
Ó, fazendo a parte dos navios, hein?
Fishing nets, you know, almost his stuff. And of course I didn't forget to paint the eyes in front of the ship. Greek ships had those for some reason.
Ô, louco, mano, olha.
It looks sick. For the environment,
ficando
I
incrível,
scanned some rocks and stones I found online and tried to make it close to the original. And it looks
Caramba,
fine
mano, é
until
muito
the
sonho,
camera
cara.
moved. So I went
Era
back to the
remake, hein?
original game to see how they did it. And turns out they used animated cloud textures on a sky dome. So I tried doing that by adding a sphere, slicing it in half and throwing some cloud textures. I animated the clouds to move and even layered some more clouds on top of it for extra drama. And it actually worked. I wasn't so confident about it in the beginning, but it turned out really well. For lighting the scene, I used the sunlight and applied an HDRI and it looked amazing. Until I changed the camera angle and suddenly everything looked flat. You know, here's the tricky part. Just because something looks cool and cinematic from one angle,
Cara, um cara só praticamente fazendo tudo isso, hein?
angles as well. But I have an idea. And I can't believe it actually works! You can see the differences before and after using this technique. It even applies on our environment. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it to be so good. Did I just invent a new way of lighting? I definitely deserve an Oscar for this now. Next up comes something pretty cool. Remember the hatch on top of the ship or the undead trying to break through? Our environment is finished! Alright. Now comes the moment I've been the most excited about. The Hydra! Stick around because the way I built this beast will blow your mind. I
As
extracted the
Hydras.
3D model from the game. Wait, I'm not stealing, I'm just wondering. Yes.
Vamos ver como é que vai ficar.
I imported it into Substance Painter and gave it a basic brownish green color. I gave it a rough scaly skin to make it feel like a giant snakefish and also painted a reptilian diamond-shaped pattern on its back, like you can see in poisonous snakes. And even added some
louco.
terrifying eyes. I also didn't like the ears, so I changed them with a fishy fin-like ears. Oh my god, this is so cool. I also decided to give him an extra eyelid, which you can see in reptiles. I thought it would be cool to include that also. Ladies and gentlemen. The Hydra! Now the Hydra is ready and everything's set, it's finally time to make the shots and bring it all together. Because trust me, the Hydra is nothing compared to what you're about to see. The first shot we're going to make is the iconic opening where Kratos faces the undead. You can't just make a character grab something in 3D. Doesn't work like that. Instead, we make 2 duplicates of the object. One on the ground, one parented to his hand. And when he grabs it, the sword on his hand appears and at the same time the one on the ground disappears, giving the perfect illusion that he's picking it up. In our case, works perfectly. In my previous video, a lot of you didn't like how Kratos' face moved. Some of you said it was janky, weird, or even garbage. So this time I spent way more effort and even gave him facial wrinkles to make it even more believable and layered tons of animation on top. And after a lot of effort, here's what I got.
Subscribe.
Nah, I'm just kidding, here's how it really looks.
Tá bem,
Beast, I will send you back.
Then I ran into a
bem
familiar
mais realista, hein?
when animating Kratos. Now you can see the shoulders are moving naturally. And with that, our first shot is finished. For the next shot, I'm going to remake this scene, but for my version, I wanted to introduce
Vamos lá.
the undead one by one. So the camera slowly pans from
Nossa,
left to
velho.
right, until finally the last one roars at the camera. This idea was inspired by this amazing shot from God of War 3. I don't always hand animate my characters manually. This way it will take forever. Sometimes I download free animations online and tweak them until they look exactly how I want it. And here you can see the result.
Cara, mas a aparência dos legionários tá muito foda. Muito bom. Olha o capacete, mano.
I also made the hair react to motion and wind so it looks way cooler, and even made their glowing eyes flicker slightly, giving them a creepy, possessed vibe. And with
Tá
that,
horripilante.
is finished. For
Olha.
Shot 3, the original idea was super short. The zombies show up, a small Hydra pops up in each one of them, then Kratos feels something behind him, he turns around, there's the giant Hydra, and that's it. But honestly, giving my audience that after they... know that
O cara com um vídeo só conseguiu a placa de 100k de inscritos.
respectful. So I decided to change the plan and go all out. Fights, chaos, adrenaline, blood. I started with a rough animation of Kratos' iconic fight, then polished it and filled in between the frames until it looked epic. Next up, the animation of...
Ó, ele falou que a ideia inicial dele era apenas fazer um vídeo bem curto, né? Ali do início.
And the end of it to Kratos' hand.
Só que,
Here's how it looks in action.
como o vídeo foi um sucesso, ele conseguiu 100 mil inscritos,
For the
né?
undead, I
A
went with
placa e tudo
something
mais.
called modular animation. Basically, I made several animation
Aí decidiu
layers,
fazer
like walking,
algo-
running, attacking,
algo maior, né?
flying, you name it. The way it works is pretty simple. Whenever the timeline hits one of the animation layers, that animation kicks in. And here's how it looks in action. I even decided to add constraints to head bones and selected Kratos.
Até Gangnam Style tem
That
ali.
way, they always look at him wherever he goes.
Nossa,
It's a
velho.
fun little effect I just figured out. Alright, time to add some cool effects. First up, I decided to make the blades heat up. Whenever
Cara, imagina o trabalho que
I
não é
also
pra
made a
fazer
smart
isso, hein?
shader that makes the chains heat up the closer they get to the blades. It makes it way cooler that way. If you played the original game, you'll probably know that the blades always leave a fiery trail.
Mas por
behind them.
quê,
I found
cara?
this
Por
amazing
quê,
tutorial
mano?
by
Por
Cartesian
quê,
Server
Sony?
that shows
Por
you
que
how to make a similar
PlayStation?
effect using geometry nodes.
Por
And it
que
was
não
okay,
fazem
but I added my own
remake
twist
pra
and
gente?
made it look like fire with some embers behind it. Alright boys, things are about to get violent because we're making blood. I also got a cool idea when I was playing Devil May Cry 5 a while ago. You know how when you hit the demons with a sword, it leaves a burning mark on them like a wound. I thought that was awesome, so I tried doing the same thing in Blender using physics, and it turned out better than I expected. And I couldn't help myself, it was so fun. I spent hours messing around with it. And here comes the moment I've been dying to show you. Remember in the original God of War, the enemies vanished when we killed them? Yeah, baby.
É muito zoeiro esse rapaz aí.
It was pretty basic. They just disappear. But I wanted my version to be way more dramatic. First of all, they slowly turn black, then the body starts burning and fading away. Then I added some smoke, then only the bones and clothes remain, and also made them collapse to the ground and disappear as well. I also thought it would be fun to reference the original game by adding red orbs, but for my version I tried something like a glowing liquid energy, kind of like blood, you know, popping out of the zombies when they die. Now it's time to add some slow motion. And you might think, oh, that's the easy part, just decrease the speed. Wrong! Blender doesn't do slow motion the traditional way. Just doesn't work like that. Even games from 25 years ago could do it easily. Best to use a wobbler.
Caramba, mano, isso aqui é um rapaz só, hein?
And after 3 weeks,
Cara fazendo um trabalho de
I
empresa,
managed
né?
to make the slow motion feel right. So the characters always had to stay inside the borders. Stay tuned because next up we have Kratos versus the Hydra. The mouth looked too clean, so I added a plane, applied a
Cara, as
slice
hidras são
and put it inside of its mouth to
muito
simulate some
top.
saliva. Then added some displacement and animated it to
Caramba, é uma
quickly
pena,
as
né,
it's
cara? A gente se
reacting to
lamenta
Hydra's
muito
breath.
por não ter
If this is not a pic, I don't know
remake.
what is. Next I animated Kratos.
Eu tenho uma teoria do porquê que a Sony não faz um remake.
With a dust texture under his feet to simulate some smoke trails, it makes his jumping look way more epic. And with that, our final shot is finished and it was finally time to render, or so I thought. Sometimes it crashed mid-render. Sometimes the render was glitching. Sometimes I finished rendering only to realize it's noisy and unusable just because I forgot to check this stupid box. Oh my god. These past 8 months were the hardest of my life. I regretted starting this project so many times. But the only thing that kept me going was my love for this project, for this game, and for my job as a YouTuber. Rendering, post-processing, backache. I'm sure you want to subscribe because there's even more exciting content coming. Enjoy the video.
Foul beast! I will send you back to the depths of Hades!
Caramba, tá incrível, mano.
Let the rage of the gods drive your blades, Kratos.
Que isso, velho. Muito bom. Olha, chega arrepia. Ai, por que, Sony? Por quê? Eu sei por quê. Galera, é o seguinte, quem quiser conferir com dublagem automática, tá? O link do vídeo vai estar na descrição, ok? Confere lá o vídeo do rapaz, que vale muitíssimo a pena. Ele é muito talentoso, muito dedicado. Beleza, galera? Eu vou ficando por aqui. Muito obrigado e até o próximo vídeo. Valeu!